Hey guys, welcome to our first video. This is Full Steam Ahead Cosplay Production Team, and we are the Creative Cosplay 4. Well, at least two of us. Two of us. Janet and Lynn will be having some of their own videos. Chuck and I want to come to you and talk about some things that we see are actually usually left out in a lot of videos.
Oh yes, definitely.
So one of the things we want to do is we want to introduce ourselves. Well, my name is Ray Ballard, and I'm also known as Fanboy because I'm the encyclopedia of knowledge. I am the consummate fanboy, and I've been making props since my teenage years, doing a lot of things for a lot of different productions, and it's something I love to do, and I can't wait to share my information with you.
And my name is Chuck Levengood, or better known as Cyber Dude. Because I like to tinker with things, little gadgets and gizmos and lights and you name it, I probably have my hands on it one way or another. And I've been doing cosplay creations for about 10 years.
So we're bringing you many decades of mistakes, blood, sweat, and tears. And we want you to hang around and join us as we get creative for cosplay. So Chuck, one of the things I've noticed in a lot of videos is everybody talks about how to make the stuff, but they never talk about the stuff you need. So I think, like the Yellow Brick Road, we need to start at the beginning.
The beginning?
Yeah, it's been a while for both of us to go back to the beginning. One of the first things that you need to do is look at the space that you have to work in.
Ray, how much space do we need?
Well, it's never going to be enough. In fact, when Chuck's at home working...
Oh, I use an ottoman, a little ottoman, 2 feet by 4 feet. There's my workspace.
And we've gotten lucky because I went from having a spare room about the size of a closet to having this nice 2-car garage that we now use as our workshop. So just look at what you have and start to determine from there what you're going to need.
Our job today is to teach you how to do this without breaking the bank.
Yeah, setting a budget and sticking to it. Okay, so yeah, setting a budget. You know, Chuck and I, over the many years, have looked at things that you're going to need to put together a very basic foam workshop. Chuck, how much money do you think it takes to start a basic foam workshop?
I'm thinking around $100. No more than $100. And that really gives you a good start.
And some of the things we're going to be talking about in this foam workshop are things you can use for the long term. They're not just one and done. So the first thing is
the Sharpie. You want to write, you want to draw, you want to do patterns, most important.
Now our second item that you're going to need is cardstock. You're going to need some good cardstock for making patterns.
You want a metal ruler. You don't want a wood ruler. You don't want a plastic ruler. You do want the metal ruler because when you're cutting your edge, you're not going to cut into the ruler. If you use a plastic ruler or a wooden ruler, you will cut into it, and then there goes your nice clean line.
Another thing you're going to need is you're going to need some type of heat source or a heat gun. The price of this, if you pay more than $15, you're buying too expensive of a heat gun. You need about a $15 heat gun.
And this next thing are the adhesives that you're going to put your foam structures together. There are various kinds of ways you can adhere your structures together with the EVA foam. We like using a all-purpose rubber cement, contact cement that will actually hold it together. And with the contact cement, you kind of want to rubberize because it allows the flex as well.
And really determining where you live will determine the kind of adhesives you can use. And we're going to cover adhesives and what happens to adhesives in different temperature-wise in one of our other videos. Get yourself some good knives. Some of my favorite are the ones that almost look like a pocket knife that have a removable razor blade. The blades come out, and you'd be surprised, foam will dull these blades very quickly. There are many different types, from X-Acto knives to get nice small cuts, to the larger straight edge cut, and there's also some of the ones that are disposable. My preference is to not use those except on the thinner foam because they tend to flex a little bit.
So the next thing we want to cover are paints. There's a wide variety of paints. If you do use acrylic paints like these right here, when you're done with them, you get a nice finish, but you do have to do a finish on them, like some sort of a clear coat.
Chuck, why do you have to put a clear coat on acrylic paint?
When water gets to it, it will rub off, so you want to seal it. Also, it just adds a very nice protective coating on it as well.
I didn't know that at first. Some of my stuff rubbed off.
If you do use oil-based spray paints, they do dry hard, and they don't allow you to flex as well. So you do want to be careful on how much of this that you use. Where if you use acrylic paint, you'll still have some flex as long as you don't clear coat it too heavily.
Another little tip from our mistakes for you.
One of the things that people do use sometimes is what's called Plasti Dip. It is a rubberized paint, and one of the things I learned in the hard way, if you do live in a cold climate and you spray it, it will come out like a spider web and it will ruin your project. So be very careful, make sure you're not in a cold climate spraying it outside. If you are spraying it in a cold climate, make sure you're in a very well ventilated inside climate where it's warm.
So Plasti Dip, it's not one of our favorites to use because there's so many other cheaper ways to do this. There's other things, and we'll tell you more about those in some of our other videos. Our last thing, guys, safety equipment. Make sure you invest in some safety equipment. You should go get yourself at least one of the little painter masks that have the breathers in it, because you never know when you're going to be painting and you're going to be inside, even in a large space, the fumes are going to get to you. Even when you're doing a little bit of sanding.
Or if you're using contact cement.
Also make sure you should probably get some nitro gloves. Nobody likes con fingers. And any of you guys who are getting into the cosplay and have used any like super type glues, crazy type glues, you're going to find out real quick. Have the nitro gloves. They come in different sizes. They're actually, again, pretty cheap if you keep your eyes out. Make sure you buy the size that fits your hand tight, because you don't want a lot of play. And finally, guys, the one thing you are going to need to do any of this when you're setting up a foam workshop is foam, and lots of it. Keep your eyes out. Find out when it's not for sale. Find out who's got the best deal. Look for the foam. What sizes do you recommend that they kind of start looking for?
I actually like the 5mm foam. I started out using the closer to 10mm foam, which was like the big thick floor mat foam. And when you start with this, especially for helmets, your helmets are really thick. It's a little more difficult to work with beginning. So what I kind of really recommend is the thinner 5mm. It makes a beautiful helmet, and you can do a lot of trim. Now, what do you do with this, though?
Well, that's going to be in one of our other videos, so we're not going to give away too many secrets in this one. That's in what foam is good for what. So remember, we have other videos going to be coming out, and we need you to go ahead and watch for those videos. So guys, one of the things we need you to do for us, it's a small thing, is please go ahead and hit the like button. Also, subscribe to our channel to watch for our upcoming videos.
And share it.
Let all of your cosplay friends know. There's a couple crazy guys out of Central Florida that love to do this. Keep an eye out for us at the Comic-Cons, because when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away a gift card to one of those lucky subscribers.
So join us next week.
And don't forget to be creative for cosplay.